Just waiting on Jerry now to join us. Women love him, men want to be him. Put this light on here. So, one thing I have not, that is a lighting man. I'll leave all that to Cameron. Are you there, Jerry?
Yeah, how's it going, mate?
I'm all right. I think, do I look all right on picture, Jerry? Do I look the business or does it look misty?
Yeah, it looks misty.
Play misty for me.
Clint Eastwood film.
That's a bit better. I'm like, look, can we get this tucked in? Or people will think I'm showing off. Right. I've had a couple of Gordons, like you do. A couple of G&Ts. What
Of
is
course.
Arthur Daly used to drink in Minder?
Ah,
BAT used to drink, didn't he? Vodka and tonic.
that's what I have. That's what I drink.
Yeah, well, I'm a G&T man tonight. Normally, I'm a rosé wine man. Or a red. I had some red that Big Ron gave me out and is covered in dust out in his cellar thing in Ridgeway Moor. That were a few years ago, but I've gone on to Gordon's now. But I'm not a boozer, Jeremy. I know you people might think I'm a pisshead, but I'm not. Every now and then you just feel like you've got to pour yourself a large one, don't you? You know,
All the time.
one of them days, Jerry, and get yourself a bag of dry roast nuts.
Oh, I love nuts, mate.
Yeah, I am a
Yeah.
nut. I must be doing this. I must be giving up a car pitch to get involved in the boxing industry. Oh my God, it's not for financial
No.
reasons, I can assure you of that. It's something that you love doing, and it's not like working in this hard look at it. It's not like work, is it? It's better than freezing your knackers off in a porter cabin. We 10 cheapies outside, 995, and on your drive. We have 14 OT you already wrote out. Yeah, them days are gone, kid. Okay. Uh, so we spoke about Caballel and Zhang and that. What about these ones here? Rest of the show. And then we'll go on to the Conor Benn stuff and talk a bit of boxing. And we'll make it a bit funny. But before I start, did you see the Curtis Woodhouse interview on his YouTube channel
No,
where he said
I
that a
did.
certain promoter, no, he said a certain person in boxing rung him up and said you're 60-61 to get beaten. Now, I already know about this story and I know it worth. Now, I'm not going to say the person's name, but watch the interview, he gives a clue. We'll leave
Okay.
that. Curtis Woodhouse's boxing YouTube channel talking about who asked him to take a dive. Go and have a look, and you'll know what it's all about this game then. Right, Virgil Ortiz against Madrimov. I didn't know what to make of that fight, Now, I watched it, and I'll tell you what they got wages wise.
Okay.
Oh, it's not on this. It's the only one that's not on. Dan Rayfield, you tosser. It's not on. It isn't on. So I don't know. All others are on. There's only six fights, purses on there out of the nine. Joe Gallagher's guy won on there. He's only had a couple of fights though, that Mohammed guy. But I'll tell you his name first because I like Joe. I've got a lot of respect for him.
Mohammed Alakal.
Yeah, yeah. Joe tells me he's fantastic. I don't know anything about Saeed Almayov, but Joe tells me that he is fantastic. And I hope you're all right, Joe. And I hope you tried that stuff that I sent you. So, okay. Getting back to Virgil Ortiz Madrinov, what did you think about that, Jerry?
That was a. I enjoyed that fight. But it was a like a fight of two halves, basically. And I kind of like Andy. I picked Madrimov. I kind of like Madrimov. I like his style. I like how he moves. Thought his footwork's incredible. I did notice though that he was obviously giving away a bit of size. So initially I thought he's going to keep Ortiz at bay here with his movement.
Yeah.
and just kind of duck in and out. But somewhere around the fifth, maybe earlier than that, Ortiz started landing, and basically what happened was Madrimov got dragged into that fight. Ortiz's fight, and then from then onward, it was Ortiz basically had the better of him, and I felt was obviously having the more success. And then, obviously, I was kind of obviously rooting for Madrimov then, so I was kind of disappointed. And I thought, is he going to get put in bottom moon here? But then Madrimov bit down on the gum shield and tried to fight fire with fire. Sometimes it was effective, sometimes it wasn't. But I think the overall dominant force was Ortiz, and when Madrimov was landing some combinations, and he was throwing this like corkscrew overhand hook sort of shot, and even though he was getting success with it, it wasn't putting a dent in Ortiz. And every time Ortiz, hit Madrimov, it felt like it was having more effect or more impact. Yeah. Even though if you were to look at their faces, Ortiz's face was a mess after. Well, not a mess, but
he looked as
he was marked up after a few rounds.
He looked as rough as me on an Easter Tuesday morning, after I started on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then Tuesdays, I get up about 4 in the afternoon on Easter Tuesday. I'm like, oh. Then I'm like, at blinds. It's on top. It's on top. No, he looked rough after that, I thought. Did you?
But Madrimov didn't look like it too much on his face. But that's obviously, Ortiz won the fight. And I think the result was fair and square.
They seemed happy with it, didn't they? B-Op and the Golden Boy.
Oh yeah, that I don't like any of that lot. So yeah.
See Bernard Hopkins bragging about being a 29 waist at his age, and well, I'm a 30 and a half. I wear 32s though, Bernard. So yeah, you're doing good. He's kept his son in good nick, Bernard Hopkins. He doesn't drink alcohol like me. And he's done really, really well. But I'm not a boozer, but he don't even have it in his pasta, does he? Whereas I don't mind a bit of white wine, if in some pasta, the pasta dish, I don't mind. But Bernard Hopkins, he's looked after himself, and he looks well done. But they say black don't crack, don't they? So I've never seen him cut. I've never seen him cut in a fight. Me, have you?
For as dirty a fighter as he was, you kind of expected him to be cut up, but his skin obviously just has that much durability to it. So
why I never liked him in early days? Because I thought he was a spoiler, and I read an article about him in Ring Magazine, and he'd done an interview. This is years and years ago. I remember doing a big sentence in the 90s, and he burst on scene. But he lost his first fight, didn't he? And Roy Jones done him in his first world title fight. But when he managed to get the title, so this interview, and he had all them defences, and he was like bragging about what he did in his area in Philly, and he used to go around taxing drug dealers, all the people's spoils and people who were not committing crimes, they could tax them. Now that to me, I know it's wrong to be a criminal and things like that, but when people go around bragging that they go around taxing other criminals who are putting their necks online, I have a big problem with that. I have a massive I had my moments with people like that when I was back in my 20s and early 30s, and I have a big problem with that. Go get your own loot. That's my opinion of that. Absolute scumbag. So I've never really been a fan of his at all. I thought when he had his light heavyweight run, I thought he was very carefully matched. He more or less held his own belt, the Ring Magazine, because they owned Ring Magazine, didn't they? His business partner owned Ring Magazine, and he was Ring Magazine champion. What was all that about? So that was by default. I don't class that as a world title fight, a world title belt. That do you?
No, not really. No.
Well, but I went off him from the start, so I was never really a fan. I thought his style was shite, boring. It put a glass eye to sleep. And all I thought Andre Ward was a Bernard Hopkins type guy. Andre Ward, he had the same style, shite. But Hopkins now, Ward's got a better story. His dad were an heroin addict and died when he was young, and that Virgil Hunter took him in, didn't he? But we'll come to him in a minute. But Hopkins for me now, don't go bragging about like Brian Cockrell bragging off about going and taxing drug dealers. Look at the state of Brian Cockrell now. He's only a couple of years older than me. Ever since the state of him, Group N rally driver. Do me a favour.
Not recently. No.
Hey,
I've not seen him in recent photo of him in ages.
oh, Brian Cockrell is the biggest storyteller on YouTube. Him and John Fury. You've got that to toss a coin to see who's telling biggest whoppers. Better be. Oh, sorry. Virgil Ortiz, Better Be, and be Dimitri Bivol. They got 10 million each, according to Dan Rayfield on here. It's out there for people to look at. 10 million quid each. Class. Absolute class. What do you think, Jerry?
Absolute class. Two guys, super talented. Both have different, you know, obviously they're both different style wise. One punches holes in you, the other one combination punches you to death. What was it? James said something that I really liked. Death by 1,000.
James will come to here. It's all right, isn't it, James?
Yeah. I liked what he said. Death by 1,000 cuts with Bivol. I thought that was spot on. Beautifully put. So I personally love both of these guys. I picked Bivol both fights. Like Peter DeFreitas, I thought Bivol won both fights. The first one I thought was closer. I know you can make a case for, put it this way, I wasn't disappointed that the first fight Beterbiev won. I can understand why people thought that. But in this fight, I felt like a lot of work that Bivol did in the first fight, because he did most of his work earlier in the fight, it kind of got forgotten about. And you know yourself, seems to be the work that is done later in the fight, particularly in the championship rounds, has more of a lasting impact or an impression on people's opinions. So I felt that's kind of what sort of split them in the first fight. And I felt like because Bivol looked like he was running out of, he looked a little bit on edge towards the end, whereas he knew he had to make adjustments, obviously, in the second fight. He said it himself, I need to be better.
Yeah.
So I felt what he did was, and everybody shit their pants when this happened, he took round 3, 4, he took 4, 5, and 6 off and just survived. And he only used his jab. Everybody was talking like, oh, he's not throwing the right. He's not throwing the right hand. I think he's got a problem. And then he just went back to business after this. And to me, it looked like Beterbiev had run out of ideas. And don't get me wrong, I am not saying it was super competitive. I just feel like Bivol had his number. And
You think he got old after round 9?
do I think he got old? I think that's a little bit strong. I understand why you're saying
now, isn't he?
He is, but he is a monster. He lives the life. He's healthy, and he's dedicated and trains super hard. You know, he probably, you've probably got 35-year-old guys, in the same division who, Beterbiev kind of knocks back the years a bit because of how disciplined he is. Those Eastern European guys are like that. And Beterbiev is an exceptional example of that. He he is 40, and he'll be 41, obviously this year.
Yeah.
But he's looked after himself. However, he's probably going to start declining. He's probably going to start slowing down. Did we see a little bit of it in that fight? Possibly.
A bit like Usyk with Fury in that second one. He didn't have as much vigor as the first one, and the CompuBox statistics prove that. And also, if you look at how many feints Usyk threw, he didn't throw as many, and he's coming down. The feint like Fury does, because old age don't make anybody, does it, Jerry? Really?
No, but it was enough. I know you're bringing that up about Usyk, but it was enough and plenty to beat Fury.
Yeah. Jerry, do you think that these rankings that we've got now with these governing bodies, do you think that they don't mean anything now when you've got Turkey just commanding fights? Like Josh Padley fighting for WBC, Macaulay, Dubois, Parker, and all these guys. He's playing musical chairs with mandatories and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Do you feel like they don't mean anything?
Without thinking about it, like myself, realistically, like that, when you put it like that, it obviously, it does. It's kind of like, what do we have the ranking system for? If you're pulling, I've already made that point about the Padley, making that match.
Good luck to him. He got in there, but what if he'd have got iced early?
Yeah, it would have been shocking, and it would have been.
It's a terrible decision, like the Macaulay one.
Exactly. So, what do we have the ranking system for? If it's ignored,
for safety, not can we lobby to put him in this position for that fight? And there you go. No, it's for safety.
So if you're going to have the system, you have to abide by it, and you've got to obviously. If this guy's not available, you go to the next guy. If that guy is not available, you go to the next guy. You can't just keep plucking guys out of obscurity for whatever, to make something more entertaining, whatever. But these guys aren't thinking like that. These guys are thinking about money, spectacle, entertainment. It's kind of like what Tony, who comes on the channel, was saying about, the
Tony,
three different.
Who's called Tony who comes on here?
Anthony.
Hey, Tony, yeah. I thought you were thinking of Tony Bellew, the guy that's never took a belt off a champion in the right tone.
The bell end? No, I wasn't thinking about
bell end. You weren't thinking of the tiny bell end, were you? Okay, no, the bell end of the century. Well, this is the juicy one. 1.2 million for Carlos Adames, the WBC middleweight champion, Marvin Hagler's old belt, against Amzad Shirez, who had a hometown decision against Bradley Ski and is an ambassador for Riyadh. He got 800 grand. He got absolutely took apart. One referee had it 115, 114 to Shiraz. One had it 118, 110. That's a 9-round swing in a 12-round fight. And the other one had it a draw. That's an 8-round swing. Turkey jumped up after round 10 and was clearly seen telling him how many rounds he was down. And if you go and check the scorecards, Turkey was correct, wasn't he? Right? Yeah. So why is he getting to look at the scorecards, and why isn't these judges saying, whoa, we're going to report you, you're not allowed to do that? And where's the boxing board of control of these commissions? Where's the WBC Suleiman? He didn't seem to be taking any action, did he, with Turkey? So is Turkey good for boxing doing that? No. Is he paying everybody on time? Yeah. But you don't own the fucking sport. All right, Turkey. So I'm not happy with him about that. All his good work that he's done in my eyes is now undone. I don't know. What do you think about all that, Jez?
I think you've made a brilliant point there. Up up until this point, I thought, are we getting fair decisions here? Are we finally getting some fair decisions here with this guy? And basically, in one fight, on one card, he has shown us that if he wants a fight, or if he wants a result or an outcome of a fight to be different, he can do that. And just as you've said, it undoes the credibility of the good decisions that we have had under his kind of watch so far. Do you not think it basically says that if this guy wants, he can manipulate the situation enough to?
Of course he can. He can have you thrown in jail, this guy. He can have your arm cut off. You have anything done to you he wants out there. When you're out there, he's in charge. And have you seen them all paying homage to him? When he grabs their hand and holds the hand, have you seen, if any man ever grabbed Bricktop's hand? Bricktop's a geezer, mate. He's from North London, Islington. He can have a bit of a tear up as well, from what I've heard. If you grab Bricktop's hand in High Street in Islington, and say, I want to hold your hand, Bricktop. I want to hold your hand. What do you think Bricktop's going to do? He's going to go, fuck off. You know what? Fucking am. George, get the emails. Do me a favour. He's going to give it all that, isn't he? I'll make mincemeat out of you. Pie and mash. Babble and squeak. He's going to get all that one Bricktop, isn't he? But not out there. When Turkey holds your hand, Bricktop wants to hold it, doesn't he? Like a little boy. Because they're all selling their souls. There are a lot of them. Have you seen them all out there? The liquor squad. Did you see Big Malcolm, Sam Jones? Human monitor lizard, Sam Jones. If you weren't out there doing boxing, you know what you'd be doing? You'd be working for somebody like Richard Teacom who owns Stoneacre. From Edlington, him, you know. You'd be working for somebody like him, Richard Teacom. Stoneacre has got them all over the country and New York. Car dealerships. You'd be working there on 400 quid a week, selling electric Kias to people like my mum and dad. You know, my mum and dad have just bought an electric Kia. They're out the mines. They just traded one in 2-year-old with 10,000 on clock. You'd be ringing people up like my mum and dad and going, hello, Mr. Hartley, it's Keith from Kia. Yeah, we're just ringing to see if everything's all right. Is your wife all right? He even remembered your mum's name, Russell. I said he will do. He's got a big list here, an existing customer. Go hand them another wedge over before you know where you are. They're fitting a big thing on the drive to plug it in. My dad's like, I never have to go to a petrol station again. He'd be doing that, wouldn't he, Sam Jones? Be getting his legs, he'd be lifting old people in the late 70s legs. Every 2.5 years, well, your MOT is doing 6 months. Before we give you a ring, we're having a cheese and wine night next week. Do you fancy it? Be one of them jobs, wouldn't it? Little con man, wouldn't you? With your Botox forehead. Be running your mouth off about me lately, aren't you, Sam? When I see you, I'm going to close it for you. Okay. Moving on from the adventures of Tintin. We know what we're going to talk about now, don't we? Right? And it's not Bombay Dave and Horsecock's performance on Sky, practically licking every Eddie Hills fighter's arsehole while twisting the knife in Adrian Mole's back, Ben Chalamet, Horsecock and Bombay Dave. Look, we know Adrian Mole's on the spectrum, but he don't need you to stick the knife on him anymore, does he? Because that's what you've been doing, you lot. You're trying to manoeuvre Eddie Hills back into a position of power on Sky. You lot know it, and I know it, and Bean knows it as well. Super Bean, with his fake stories about what he's been up to the last 4 years. Right, Eubank and Benn. What can we say? Eggate. What did you make of it all, Jerry?
First of all, not interested in that fight. Absolute nonsense. They're both twats.
Go on, Jeff. Get it out of all you can with your Magnum Tash.
They're both twats. Of the highest order, it's almost hard to separate them, but we know who takes the title, and that is Conor Benn. Eggate. I couldn't. It was just absolute pantomime nonsense, Russ. You know, I believe it or not, I didn't watch it, but I've seen so many videos about it. I know exactly what happened. So,
How do you make it? You want in on it?
Yeah. He probably was getting a little bit annoyed with Eubank sort of having pops at him and whatnot, but you know, he probably was absolutely loving the whole scene. Like, I just
Eddie,
think,
oh my God. Eddie, Eddie, he talks a good game, doesn't he? You know Eddie, right? You know, if you were in jail, Eddie, his dad would have to drop £100 a week off to somebody's house in prison so that Eddie won't get filled in, or he'd have to go on numbers. That's what would happen to him. He'd have to go on numbers on 43s. That's what would happen to him, mate. 43s for Eddie if he went to jail. He wouldn't be able to do porridging, but he's talking like he's an Essex roadman. So is Crusher Benn. He's talking about having it on the tarmac. And another private school kid as well will keep saying he can have it on the tarmac, like Callum Sowland. I'd have it with him on Misfits, me and him. And I don't need paying like Mickey Theo and Joe Egan. They just want to pay there. I'd do it for free. Me and Callum on Misfits. Forget all that on the tarmac, Callum. These are privately school educated men talking like they are roadmen. They're not. It's like one of my mates said to Sonny Edwards a few weeks ago. Sonny, where's Eddie Hills now? Because you were hanging out at the back of Eddie, wasn't he? At one point.
Yeah.
Eddie's family and all that. Well, where is it? Where's Eddie now? Sonny. Where is he? There you go. There's no mates in boxing. Keep telling people, but they don't listen to me. I had to educate Max. And the Max knows now. You know, Big Max?
Yeah.
He's like a loyal Labrador. He'd never shaft you, Max. He's got it in here. He'd do all for Max, you know. When I was dying, mate, he came to see me. He was fetching tubs of build-up drinks. I'll tell you who else was. Scott Brunt sent his missus to see me when I was on my deathbed, mate, 8 stone 12. But Max were coming down with tubs of it from Scarborough to South Yorkshire. He's loyal, Max, but I've had to educate him about people in the boxing industry. Max like, no, I'm all right. Well, you know now, don't you, Max? It's not all what it seems. Jane Couch tried to educate me about 10 years ago, and I went, and you soon see, don't you? Full of shit houses. But Conor Benn and Eubank, everybody in the boxing industry who's a license holder can't stand Crusher Benn. I know that, but nobody's going to say anything because this promoter's got a bit of pull on it. And everybody, all roads lead to Saudi. But all them, could you imagine, right? Being at a show, strutting about, bro, eat a seats, bro, eat a steering wheel. Getting it all that, right, at these shows, and 100-gram watch and Rolexes and all that. Rolls Royces, sorry. Rolexes, the job lot, diamond this, and his little baby kid with big gold chain round neck and all that lot. It's all a load of shit. Let me know to me. What I want to make is this. Boxing's full of vagabonds and fakes. And I've tried to explain it all to Max, but he knows now what the sport's about. It's full of fakes. That's what this sport is. But it's very, very hard for people who've got licenses, Jerry, and they've got the sons boxing, or they've got fighters boxing, or the training, or the managing fighters, to really say anything about it. Do you seriously think that Sam Jones, who manages fighters, wants to see Conor Benn move forward and earn millions of pounds when he's failed 2 dope tests and not explained himself? Do you think any of them kids on them shows on undercard or their trainers and managers want to see him get millions of pounds? Do you seriously think they do? Because I know personally that there's a lot of them that don't, and people in the media. So I say to them, it's not going to pour in their hearts out to me on the phone, because I'm going to say this anyway. I don't need them to give me pointers. Say it on your social medias. Don't tell me. I know what Steffi Bull really thinks about it all, but it's up to him to say it on his social media, isn't it? Like other people. Say it on your Twitters, on your Instas, or go say it to his face, or do an interview on YouTubers and say it. But don't tell me. It's no good telling me. I can't do nothing about it. I can mention it on here. But they're that far removed, they're just laughing. Conor Benn's got his cock out from a penthouse and he's taking a piss on all boxing fans. He's like, look at you lot. I'm getting millions here and you're all lapping it up. Now they're inventing fake slap stories. They've had to do that to sell the fight. Do you think they'd have got through security with an egg in his pocket, that security? Because if he did, that could have been a hand grenade, couldn't it?
Yeah,
All
of
them
course.
people doing the security, they want sacking because they're not doing the jobs, are they? How's he got through with that in his pocket? Supposed to be security type on it. Well, I've had stuff took off me at shows. I've had to plug gear up my arse just to get it in a balloon. Yeah, I've had stuff took, not drugs that I took off me. I've had like a little like a hand, like a gripper thing, you know, like what you do that way. Because I had a tendon injury there. They said, what's that? So I just grip it in order to strengthen my wrist up. Took it off me, it's a weapon. See where I'm coming from? The point I want to make is, how did he get through with that? Because it's fucking staged. It's staged. They've had to do that to sell it because nobody's interested in the fight. Oh, we're interested in it. A super middle against a welter. But he ain't really a welter. And other ones not fought a super middle for years. We've got a middle against a light middle because he's 3 year light middle now, isn't he, Ben? Yeah. Against a 3 year middle. So he's only stepping up one way. I'm sick of hearing all this two weights and Eubank's really a super middle. Eubank's been fighting for years at middle and Benn's been a light middle, 3 year. Do you think when Tommy Earns were fighting at light heavyweight against Ray Leonard, they were saying Tommy Earns is really a welter? No, because he'd moved through the levels, hadn't he? Moved through the weights. Do you see where I'm coming from? Conor Benn's been fighting for 3 years as a 154. Eubank's been fighting at 160 for probably longer than that. But he does own an IBO at 168, but he's technically a 160, isn't he? So all this, crush it, we need this weight rehydration thing, and they've managed to get it to £12, which shouldn't really make much difference anyway. But point I want to make is this. He's not jumping up that far, and he's saying he walks around at 175. Eubank's saying he walks around at 180. So we're only talking £8. So why are they crying about it like little babies? Do you know what I mean? So it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, Jezza. It really does.
It's just a terrible fight, though. The whole thing is, it's a low point for boxing for me.
Oh, see, it is, man. They're
terrible.
6.5 million each. So Eddie Hearn's on 1.3 million off Crusher Benn. That's before he's had his hands all over bar at Tottenham and all other concessions and merchandise and interviews and this and that. They might come out with 2 mil then, match them. So it's in their best interest to do that because they need 900 grand back from the first fight that got cancelled from all that PR and all that messing about, don't they? So Eddie needs this fight. So if Crusher wants to pull out, you're going to see some tears then. Then you will see them at it. But no, I'm not buying that. No, they had to do that. They've had to put him in his place, Crusher, haven't they? They said, look, you're a hated villain. We need you putting in your place. We've got to sell a script. Can you imagine him like that, writing scripts? You can imagine it, can't you? Be like that time that he fought in Ireland, didn't he, Chris Eubank, and he sat there in his underpants with a machete cutting up melons. Do you remember? You remember that when he came to Ireland? You remember?
Yeah.
There you go. So they're all PR men, aren't they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're all PR men. That's all they're doing. They're writing scripts, and everybody's like that. They get all YouTubers with a decent following to put it out. Then they put it out on the social medias. Then they comp all that Towie lot. They give them all free tickets because they've got millions of followers across social media. And other Z-listers who've got big followings, they comp them all and say, put it out about this fight. And that's what they do. Tell all your followers to buy a ticket. It's not rocket science. They're manipulating everybody. But the actual egg to the face, I ain't buying that. Me? Think I'm going to buy that shit? No, what we're going to have eggs at every fight. Now, it's like I weren't buying that flip table by Derek Chisora. I didn't buy that either. Only person who wanted in on that were Bean. Everybody else were in on it, mate. It's just rubbish, mate. They couldn't lie straight in bed. None of them. It is what it is. We'll finish off on this one then. Who do you think who do you think is going to win in Benn and Eubank? Sorry.
Who do I think is going to win?
Yeah.
I think I've always thought Eubank is just going to be a little bit too.
Well, win against Canelo, according to Turkey Al Sheikh.
Well,
at 168.
I think Eubank's gonna get that fight. And if he gets Canelo, he's probably gonna get stopped, I'd say. But he's too much for Conor Benn, I think. He could be, he's a little bit older and stuff, and very inactive. So Benn's probably got a little bit, but then again, Benn's been very inactive as well. But
his dad's in corner, isn't he, as well, Eubank's dad? What that's going to make a difference to, I don't know. The guy's a complete whopper.
Is he? I didn't think he was going.
Well, it says it on internet tonight that his father's going to be in corner. Oh, God.
Right. Well, that's just more novel.
He's changed his name, man, to English. Jesus.
Yeah.
No, you couldn't make it up. Right, Jezza, I'm going to get off. I'm going to pour myself a large one, and I'm going to watch White Heat with James Cagney. Remember that? Black and white film.
Excellent.
White Heat tonight. Tonight's film. White Heat. Cody Jarrett. I just feel like watching that again. All right. Well, listen, all the best to you and your missus. Have a great evening. And I'll speak to you probably tomorrow at some point.
Dead on, mate.
Or text you. All right, Jerry.
Take it easy, mate.
Take care, Jerry. Thank you very much. That was Jerry from Ireland. Women love him, men want to be him. It's because of his Magnum Tash. That's about it. Well, peace out. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Arm day tomorrow. Pop, pop, bang. Go on, Booyaka. Big shout out to Jimmy Norton. Hope you're well, Jimmy. Peace out.